Patty Simpson with Simpson Math. Let's look at a few more examples of factorials. So a factorial is just an operation that tells us to multiply all the numbers from 1 up to the number in front of that exclamation point. This means factorial. Now there are a few things that we need to know that we've just defined. We've defined 0 factorial to equal 1. So anytime we see 0 factorial, that's just equal to 1. And 1 factorial is also equal to 1. So just know those two are just both 1. But with 6 factorial, all we're going to do is take our numbers from 1 to 6 and multiply them. And you can go in ascending order, or you can go, usually rewrite them in descending order, where we say 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. Well, 6 times 5 is 30, and 4 times 3 is 12, and 2 times 1 is 2. So 30 times 12, well, 3 times 12 is 36. Put a 0 on the end of that. Times that 2 still. Double 360 and you get 0, 12, carry your 1, 6, 720. So 6 factorial is equal to 720. It's just equal to all those numbers below 6 all multiplying together, up to 6. Here I have 12 factorial divided by 9 factorial. So I could count all the way down 12 times 11 times 10 times 9 times 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. Or at this 9 factorial, if I stop at 9 and write it as 9 factorial, that means 9 times 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. So I can stop there. This is another way to write that 12 factorial. And I stopped here because I saw the 9 factorial on bottom. And now I have the same thing on top, 9 times 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 1, as I do on top. Bottom and top are the same. So this divides to be 1, and it just leaves me with 12 times 11 times 10. Well, 12 times 11 is 2, and 1 is 3. 1 times 1 is 1 with a 0 on the end. 1,320. So when you can, if you can see below, to stop at a factorial, it makes it a little bit easier to simplify that. As we begin to use our combinatorics formula, we're always going to be able to simplify it down until we don't have a denominator. Let's look at this one. Here I have 15 factorial over 3 factorial times the quantity of 15 minus 3 factorial. With all our order of operations, I'm going to start inside this grouping symbol. So I'm going to do the 15 minus 3 first, which gives me 12, and then that factorial is on the outside. And that's multiplying times this 3 factorial. Now, before I can multiply these two numbers, I have to recognize that this 3 factorial means 3 times 2 times 1. And I have to recognize that this means 12 times 11 times 10 times 9 times 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. But I think what I'm going to do is take this 15 and make it stop here at the 12 factorial. Because if I were to keep going, this 12 factorial means it keeps going down. And this 12 factorial then is on bottom, so that the 12 factorial and the 12 factorial become 1. Now I still have this 3 factorial here, and that 3 factorial means 3 times 2 times 1. So I do need that here. I don't have a 3 factorial on top. So I need to write him out as 3 times 2 times 1. But I do like to simplify if I can. And in these when I'm doing the counting, I'm going to be able to simplify it. So we should simplify it all the way down to make it easier on ourselves. So 3 goes into 15 5 times. And 2 goes into 14 7 times. So now I just have 5 times 7 times 13. I've made it a little bit easier on myself. And I can do 7 times 13 gives me 21, carry 2, 7, 8, 9. And then I have times 5. Well, 5 times 91 is 545, so 455. So this factorial divided by those 2 factorials leaves me with 455. One more, I have 6 factorial over 6 minus 6 factorial. Again, I'm going to do inside the parentheses first. That leaves me with 0 factorial. So I have 6 factorial over 0 factorial. Remember that 0 factorial means 1. So I have 6 factorial over 1. Well, we saw earlier that 6 factorial was equal to 720. So this is really 720 divided by 1, which is just equal to 720. So 0 factorial is always just defined as equaling 1, as is 1 factorial, that is also just equal to 1. So there's a little more practice with factorials. Math Made Simple, it's some math. Thanks for watching.